Captain Ibrahim Traore, a man who has survived many attempts on his life, has finally come forward. Today, he tells us the hidden story behind those who silenced one of Africa's most inspiring leaders, Thomas Sankara. But before we start, let me ask you, is Captain Ibrahim Traore the kind of leader you would want for your country? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Our story begins in 1983 when a young, determined soldier named Thomas Sankara rose to power. He was more than just a leader. He was a visionary, a man on a mission to lift his people out of deep poverty and change his small West African country. In just 4 years, he brought about many new ideas that challenged old colonial rules and unfair traditions. Thomas Sankara was born on December 21st, 1949, in a small village called Yako, back when his country was known as Upper Volta. He was the third of 10 children in a family that valued hard work, education, and strong morals. His father, Joseph Sankara, had fought in World War II in the French army, and his mother, Marguerite Kinder, taught him the importance of honesty and purpose. Even as a child, while surrounded by the beautiful countryside, Sankara saw how unfair life could be. He often wondered why some people did well while many struggled, and why a foreign power could control his homeland. When he was just 11 years old, at a time when Upper Volta was about to become independent from France, Sankara and his friends bravely lowered the French flag and raised the flag of their soon-to-be free nation. This simple act of courage marked the start of his lifelong fight for justice and pride in his country. Sankara's journey was not easy. He did very well in school, especially in math and languages. After graduating from military school, he was chosen for special officer training abroad, which took him to Madagascar in October 1969. There, he not only improved his military skills, but also studied agriculture and rural development. These lessons later became the base of his many reforms, because he believed that a nation's strength comes from its people being able to feed themselves and control their own resources. While many of his fellow soldiers only focused on drills and fighting, Sankara worked quietly to learn more about revolutionary ideas and the struggles for independence around the world. He went to secret meetings with left-wing groups and trade unions, always eager to learn about the real problems that ordinary people faced. His time abroad and his constant desire for knowledge made him different from many in the military, who cared more about wealth and status than about the well-being of the nation. The big change came during a series of military coups that rocked Upper Volta. In November 1980, a coup led by Colonel Saye Zerbo took control for a short time. At first, Sankara watched these events from the side, but soon he was pulled into the world of politics when he was named Minister of Information in 2000, late 1981. Instead of following the corrupt ways of his bosses, he used his role to expose government corruption and speak up for those who had no voice. His brave actions and strong words made the people listen.
Seulement 4% de la population réussit à nourrir toute une population de plus de 200 millions d'habitants et même à exporter et à constituer autour de l'agriculture une puissance économique. Il n'est pas normal qu'ici, à plus de 90% d'agriculteurs, de cultivateurs, de paysans, nous ne soyons pas encore en mesure de nous autosuffire.
But they also made powerful people very jealous and suspicious. Then, on November 7th, 1982, another coup took place led by Captain Jean-Baptiste Wedeau. This brought Sankara back into the center of power. On January 10th, 1983, he was made Prime Minister. Now in a real position of power, Sankara wasted no time in putting his bold ideas into action. He was determined to break the chains of colonial rule and build a nation of self-reliant and proud people. His new role led to a rush of changes that touched every part of society, from the economy to social customs and politics. One of his very first and most symbolic acts was renaming the country. He got rid of the old name, Upper Volta, and named the nation Burkina Faso, which means land of upright people. This was not just a change of words, it was a strong statement about the country's new identity and pride. Under his leadership, many major reforms were introduced. The government took control of land and mineral resources and then shared them more fairly with the people. In farming, his policies led to a big boost in crop production, easing the food shortages that had hurt so many. Determined to fight the environmental damage that threatened his people's survival, Sankara started an ambitious program to plant millions of trees. This helped stop the spread of the desert and made the land fertile again. Sankara cared about more than just money and farming. He was a strong supporter of social justice. He knew that real progress could not happen if half the people were held back. To help women, he put in place changes that fought against forced and underage marriages, polygamy, and harmful traditional practices. One of his most memorable ideas was to create a National Women's Day. On that day, traditional roles were turned upside down and men were asked to share in the everyday work that had always been done by women. This was a powerful lesson in understanding and equality meant to change society from the inside. In health and education, Sankara made huge improvements. With one of the worst child mortality rates in the world, he organized one of the largest vaccination programs ever seen in Africa, immunizing over 2.5 million children and saving many lives. At the same time, he started a literacy campaign that raised the nation's literacy rate from just 13% to 73% in 4 years. This showed his deep belief that education was the key to a better future. However, as Sankara became more popular, his strong stand against corruption and Western influence, as well as his bold changes, made many people angry. Both local and foreign powers felt threatened by his revolutionary ideas. His harsh criticism of foreign aid and the hidden conditions attached to international loans upset many who had long benefited from Africa's resources being controlled by outsiders. Perhaps the most painful betrayal came from within his own group. Captain Blakampa, once a close friend and trusted partner, started to question the speed and depth of Sankara's reforms. While Sankara wanted fast and wide-ranging change, Kampa believed in a slower, more cautious approach. This difference of opinion slowly drove a wedge between them. In May 1984, rumors of a coup began to spread. Tensions grew, and in June of that year, several people accused of plotting were arrested and executed. These early signs of trouble were only a warning of what was to come. On the morning of October 15, 1987, during a meeting planned to discuss a new political movement that would unite the revolution, everything fell apart. Suddenly, gunshots broke the silence, and in the chaos that followed, 12 people were killed. Among those who died was Thomas Sankara. His body was later found damaged and quickly buried in a grave with no name.
Mais il était tellement puissant qu'on ne peut pas l'écarter. Il faut l'éliminer physiquement.
The government claimed he died of natural causes, but no one believed that story. With Sankara's death, a strong voice for change was silenced, and the revolutionary spirit he had built began to fade. After the coup, Captain Blakampa moved quickly to undo the changes that had been the heart of Sankara's legacy. He brought back the old ways, welcoming foreign financial institutions, reversing the fair distribution of land, and returning many of the powers and privileges that Sankara had fought so hard to remove. It was clear that Kampa wanted not only to erase the man, but everything he stood for. Even in death, however, the spirit of Thomas Sankara lives on. His life remains a strong symbol of hope, courage, and the ongoing fight for justice. His words, his ideas, and his bold efforts to change society continue to inspire millions across Africa and around the world. Today, as we listen to Captain Ibrahim Traore, brave call to expose the truth behind the silencing of Thomas Sankara, we are reminded of the heavy price that sometimes must be paid for real change. His story forces us to face hard truths about leadership, betrayal, and the lasting impact of bold ideas. It makes us think about what kind of leaders we really need. Leaders who are not afraid to fight injustice, who put the people first, and who are willing to risk everything for a better future. So, as you listen to this story, I leave you with the same question that Captain Ibrahim Traore: is this the kind of leader you want to see in power? One who dares to stand up against corruption and never wavers in the face of huge challenges? Think about it and let us know your answer in the comments. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of Africa's most challenging and inspiring chapters. Remember, the fight for truth and justice never ends. If you found this story powerful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others.